I still remember the exact moment everything changed for me. I was sitting in rush hour traffic, stuck between the same cars I saw every single morning, heading to the same office, to do the same work, for the same paycheck that barely covered my bills. And I thought to myself, there has to be more than this. There has to be a way to break free from this cycle where I trade my time for money, where someone else controls my schedule, my income, my future. That's when I discovered trading, and I'm not going to lie to you and say it was easy or that I made millions overnight, because that would be dishonest. But what I will tell you is that trading gave me something I never had before, the real possibility of designing my own future. And if you're watching this right now, feeling that same frustration, that same hunger for something more, then maybe, just maybe, this message is for you. Let's talk about what most people don't understand about trading. They see it on social media, all these accounts showing luxury cars and exotic vacations, claiming they made $50,000 in a single day. And you know what? Some of that might be real, but most of it is selling you a dream without showing you the reality. The truth about trading is much more interesting than the fantasy. Trading is not a lottery ticket. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. What trading actually is a skill. Just like learning to play an instrument or mastering a sport or becoming good at anything worthwhile in life. It takes time, it takes practice, it takes dedication, and yes, it takes some capital to start with. But here's what makes trading different from almost any other skill you could learn. When you get good at playing guitar, you can perform for people, maybe make some money on the side. When you get good at a sport, you can compete, maybe even go professional if you're exceptional. But when you get good at trading, you've learned a skill that can generate income independent of your physical presence. You can trade from anywhere in the world. You can trade on your own schedule. You can scale up as your skill and capital grow. That's the real power of trading, and that's why it has the potential to genuinely change your life. Now, before we go any further, I need to be completely transparent with you about something. Trading involves risk, real risk. You can lose money, and many people do, especially when they're starting out. According to various studies in the financial industry, a significant percentage of new traders lose money in their first year. Some estimates suggest that somewhere between 70 to 90% of retail traders don't make consistent profits. Those are sobering statistics, and I'm sharing them with you because you deserve to know the truth. But here's the other side of that coin. Those statistics don't mean trading is impossible. They mean that most people approach it the wrong way. They jump in without education, without a plan, without proper risk management, and they treat it like gambling instead of like a business. So what does it actually take to break free through trading? What does it take to be in that minority of traders who do succeed? First and foremost, it takes education. You need to understand the markets you're trading. Whether you're interested in stocks, Forex, cryptocurrencies, commodities, or futures, each market has its own characteristics, its own rhythm, its own rules. You don't need to become an economics professor, but you do need to understand the basics of how markets move, what drives prices up and down, and how to read the information that's available to you. Think about it this way. If you decided you wanted to become a doctor, you wouldn't just walk into a hospital and start performing surgery, right? You'd go to medical school. You'd study. You'd practice under supervision. You'd learn from people who have already mastered the skill. Trading is no different. The difference is that you don't need to spend 8 years in school and hundreds of thousands of dollars to get educated about trading. The information is out there, much of it available for free or at reasonable cost. Books, courses, YouTube videos, podcasts, webinars. The resources exist. What's required is your commitment to actually learning before you risk real money. The second thing you need is a strategy. This is where so many beginners go wrong. They open a trading account, they see some stock or cryptocurrency moving up, and they jump in, hoping to catch the ride. That's not trading, that's hoping. A real trading strategy is a set of rules that tells you exactly when to enter a trade, when to exit a trade, how much to risk on each trade, and what market conditions need to be present for you to even consider taking a trade. Your strategy might be based on technical analysis, looking at charts and patterns. It might be based on fundamental analysis, studying the actual value and performance of companies or assets. It might be a combination of both. But whatever your strategy is, it needs to be tested, it needs to be proven, and it needs to be followed consistently. Here's something that took me way too long to learn. The market doesn't care about your emotions. It doesn't care if you need to make money this month to pay your rent. It doesn't care if you're feeling confident or scared or frustrated. The market simply moves based on supply and demand, based on millions of participants making decisions for their own reasons. And if you let your emotions drive your trading decisions, you will lose, period. This is why having a strategy and sticking to it is so crucial. Your strategy is what keeps you grounded when everything inside you is screaming to do something impulsive. Let me give you a real example of what I'm talking about. Let's say you have a strategy that tells you to only take trades when certain conditions are met. Maybe you trade based on moving average crossovers, or support and resistance levels, or whatever system you've developed. One day, you're watching the market, and you see a stock absolutely skyrocketing. It's up 20%, then 30%, and it's all over the news. Everyone's talking about it. And you think to yourself, I should get in on this. But here's the problem. This trade doesn't meet your strategy's criteria. You'd be buying at the top, chasing momentum, going against your own rules. What do? If you're trading emotionally, you jump in. You don't want to miss out. And maybe, just maybe, you get lucky and the stock keeps climbing and you make some money. But more likely, you buy right at the peak, and the stock immediately reverses, and you're sitting there watching your money evaporate, wondering what happened. If you're trading strategically, you do nothing. You let that trade go by. You accept that you'll miss some big moves, because you're not trying to catch every move. You're trying to consistently execute your strategy, knowing that over time, over dozens or hundreds of trades, your edge will play out and you'll be profitable. That brings me to the third essential element, risk management. This is hands down the most important thing you need to understand about trading, and it's the thing that most beginners completely ignore. Risk management is about protecting your capital so that you can stay in the game long enough to succeed. There's an old saying in trading, your first job is to not lose money. Your second job is to not lose money. Your third job is to make money. That might sound overly cautious, but it's actually profound wisdom. Here's how risk management works in practice. Let's say you have $10,000 in your trading account. A basic rule that many professional traders follow is to never risk more than 1 to 2% of your account on any single trade. That means on a $10,000 account, you'd risk at most $100 to $200 per trade. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. $100, that's nothing. I want to make real money, and I get it, I really do. But here's the math that will blow your mind. If you risk 2% per trade, you can lose 50 trades in a row before your account is wiped out. 50 trades. That gives you an enormous buffer to learn, to make mistakes, to refine your strategy. Compare that to someone who risks 20% per trade because they're trying to get rich quickly. They can only lose 5 trades before their account is destroyed. 5 trades. And guess what? When you're learning to trade, you're going to have losing trades. It's inevitable. The question is whether you'll still be around after those losing trades to apply what you've learned. Risk management is what keeps you in the game. Now let's talk about time, because this is another area where people's expectations are completely unrealistic. How long does it take to become a consistently profitable trader? The honest answer is that it varies, but for most people who succeed, it takes at least a year of dedicated learning and practice, and often 2 to 3 years before they're consistently profitable. Some people get there faster, some take longer, but if you're thinking you'll be making a full-time income from trading in a few months, you're probably setting yourself up for disappointment. But here's the beautiful thing about that timeline. While you're learning to trade, you don't have to quit your job. You don't have to blow up your life. You can learn in the evenings, on weekends, during your lunch break. You can practice with a demo account that uses simulated money, so you can learn without risking anything. You can start small with real money once you have a strategy that works on a demo account, risking amounts that won't devastate you if you lose. Trading allows you to build your skills and your track record while still maintaining your current life. And then, once you've proven to yourself that you can do this consistently, once you have a real track record of profitable trading over many months, that's when you can start to think about transitioning to doing it full-time. Let's talk about what breaking free actually looks like, because I think a lot of people have the wrong picture in their head. Breaking free through trading doesn't necessarily mean you're sitting on a beach with your laptop, making trades and sipping cocktails. That's the Instagram version, and it's mostly nonsense. What breaking free actually means is having options. It means that if you hate your job, you have another source of income that could eventually replace it. It means that if you want to travel, you can take your trading skills with you. It means that you're not entirely dependent on one employer who could let you go at any time for any reason. For some traders, breaking free means going full-time and treating trading as their primary business. For others, it means having a substantial side income that pays for vacations, or investments, or early retirement savings. For others, it means having the freedom to take a lower-paying job that they actually enjoy, because their trading income makes up the difference. There's no one right answer. The point is that trading gives you options that you didn't have before, and options equal freedom. I want to address something that I know some of you are thinking right now. You're thinking, this all sounds good, but I don't have money to start trading. Maybe you're living paycheck to paycheck. Maybe you have debt. Maybe you're a student or you're just getting started in your career. And I want to be honest with you about this. Trading does require capital. You can't make meaningful money trading if you're starting with $50. The math just doesn't work. But here's what you can do. You can start learning right now for free or very low cost. You can practice on a demo account for free. And while you're doing that, you can be intentional about saving money specifically for trading. Even if you can only save $50 or $100 a month, that adds up. In a year, that's $600 to $1,200. In 2 years, while you're learning and practicing, that's $1,200 to $2,400. That's enough to open a real trading account and start building your track record with proper risk management. The key is to not wait until you have money to start learning. Start learning now, practice on demo accounts, and save money specifically for this goal. By the time you have enough capital, you'll also have the skills to use it properly. Let me share something with you about the psychology of trading, because this is where the rubber really meets the road. Trading will expose every single one of your psychological weaknesses. If you have issues with discipline, trading will show you. If you have issues with patience, trading will show you. If you have issues with following through on your commitments, trading will show you. If you have issues with dealing with loss or handling success, trading will show you. This might sound intimidating, but it's actually one of the most valuable aspects of learning to trade. When you work on becoming a better trader, you're also working on becoming a better person. You're learning to control your emotions, to stick to your plan even when it's uncomfortable, to accept losses without falling apart, to win without getting arrogant. These skills transfer to every other area of your life. The discipline you develop as a trader will help you in your career, your relationships, your health, everything. So even if you never become a full-time trader, even if trading remains a side income for you, the personal growth that comes from learning to trade well is incredibly valuable. Here's what I want you to understand about designing your future through trading. It's not about the money alone, though the money matters and can genuinely change your life. It's about taking control. It's about refusing to accept that your only option is to spend 40 years working for someone else, hoping you can retire with enough money to enjoy a few good years at the end. It's about believing that you can learn a skill that gives you independence, flexibility, and options. It's about betting on yourself instead of betting on a company or an employer to take care of you. The world is changing rapidly. Technology is eliminating jobs. Companies are cutting benefits. Pensions are mostly gone. Job security is a myth for most people. In this new economy, the people who thrive are the people who have multiple income streams, who have skills that generate value independent of a traditional job. Trading can be one of those skills. Not the only one, not necessarily even your primary one, but one powerful tool in your arsenal for creating the life you want. So where do you start? Right here, right now, today. Start educating yourself. Read books about trading. Take free courses online. Watch educational content from legitimate traders, not the scammers promising quick riches. Open a demo trading account and start practicing. Join trading communities where you can learn from others. Keep a trading journal where you document every trade you make, why you made it, and what you learned from it. This is how you build real skill. This is how you set yourself up for actual success instead of just dreaming about it. And please be patient with yourself. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to have losing trades. You're going to feel frustrated and want to quit. That's all part of the process. Every successful trader you've ever heard of went through the exact same struggles you're going through. The difference between them and the people who quit is that they kept going. They learned from their losses instead of being destroyed by them. They improved their strategy little by little. They managed their risk so they could survive their learning curve. And eventually, slowly, they turned the corner and started becoming consistently profitable. You can do this. I genuinely believe that. Not because trading is easy, but because it's a learnable skill and you're capable of learning. Not because everyone who tries will succeed, but because the people who commit to the process, who educate themselves properly, who manage risk intelligently, and who stick with it through the difficult times, they have a real chance. And if you're willing to put in that work, if you're willing to treat this as a serious endeavor rather than a gamble, then yes, you can break free through trading. You can design your future instead of having it dictated to you. You can build something that's yours, that travels with you, that grows with you. The question is, are you ready to start? Are you ready to take responsibility for your financial future? Are you ready to learn something difficult but potentially life-changing? Because if you are, then today is day one. Today is when your journey begins. Not tomorrow, not when you have more money, not when conditions are perfect. Today, make the decision, commit to the process, and start taking the steps that will move you toward the future you want. Break free through trading. Design your future. It's possible and it's waiting for you.